I have decided to stop being so depressed, so anxious, so worried, all of that. I've decided I'm not going to be that anymore. So, in the past, when I was in high school, I was very happy, very positive. People called me Sunshine Boy. Sunshine Boy. That was kind of their nickname for me because I was so positive, so happy, so energetic, right? I had that kind of character. But then I feel like things really started to change after I graduated from high school and started going through engineering. I now in my current iteration, I feel like this just very anxious person. I'm always worried about everything. I'm always constantly, I almost feel like I'm walking on a floor and my mindset is that the floor can fall away at any moment and my entire life is just destroyed and I'm just going to be completely wrecked. So I'm just taking every step very nervously, kind of like that. It's I don't think that this is a very good way to go about living your life. So I'm trying to figure out like, okay, how do I stop living my life in that manner? And so one of the things that is important to do when you're trying to figure out like, okay, here's a problem that I have, how am I going to fix it, is try to figure out like where did it go wrong? What led up to from the point that it started to the point that now what's going on in this time. So I was reflecting on this and I think that there was a fair amount of things that started going on when once I graduated high school. So when I was in high school, I studied really hard. I felt like I had a lot of friends. I was able to interact with people and I felt like I was going forward. I felt like my life was going forward. I didn't feel like there was any like stops in my path. I just felt very free and that almost like ice skating right through all of the things that I'm supposed to be doing. Then, once I graduated high school, all of a sudden, uh-oh, I don't have enough money to pay for university. I can't get student loans. I can't get any government assistance. Oh, okay. So now, full-time work, part-time school. But I still kind of maintain that happy, carefree feeling. I was still working as hard as I could at work, and I was still working as hard as I could at pursuing my degree. So I was going through a community college. So I still had that kind of like happy, carefree mindset. Then I think things started to change when I noticed a lot of my friends that I went to high school with starting to graduate with either their bachelor's or their master's degree, and I still had not gotten my associate's degree. I think that's where things kind of started. And I remember thinking just like how hard I was working and trying to improve my life. And then I looked at my friends and it just felt like, and again, this is an observer looking at someone else's. I don't see their struggle. I don't see what they're going through. I just see from my perspective, oh, it looks like they're just having a good time and it's so easy for them and why can't I succeed? And you start to get this kind of almost jealousy in your mind, and that's such a negative feeling or emotion to feel is just like I struggle or I'm struggling so hard, why can't I be successful? This kind of feeling. And unfortunately, I feel like a lot of engineering major people who major in engineering that a lot of them have kind of this mindset, including myself, as I just said, like my major is more difficult than your major. I deserve, right? Like something like this. I feel like that's a very common thing that you regularly hear in engineering. So that's where I think it started. And then later on, moving forward in time a little bit more, I started to develop just like very, very anxious tendencies that if I don't pass this test, I'm not going to be able to get my degree, and then I'm not going to be able to get a job, and then I'm going to end up homeless and I'm going to die. So my brain all of a sudden tricked itself into thinking that this test or this exam, this final is a literal life or death situation. And I got to the point where I was not able to sleep before exams. And that continued from essentially my junior year all the way to my senior year, like from the time that I graduated. The entire time, whenever I had an exam, I couldn't sleep. I was too worried about the test. I thought that I was going to fail. If my GPA dropped below like 3.8, I thought that I was never going to be able to find a job. I thought that my brain thought of all of these strange ideas, and it just freaked myself out. Then, once I graduated, I couldn't find a job. I applied and applied and applied and applied over 1,000 applications from the time I graduated to the time that I finally found my job that I'm currently at right now was 6 months. And in that 6 months, I sent out application after application after application. And I would ask my friends, like, hey, can you look at my resume? What would you suggest? Like, how would you suggest me improving my resume? What kind of projects do you think I should be doing? Right? Like, I kept trying to tweak everything, and then I finally was able to get a job. Did my anxiety go away? No, it just transferred. Then it just said, uh, so actually, I should say my anxiety did kind of go away, but not away, but it like a little bit lessened, but it was still there. I still kept thinking like I'm gonna get fired, or like if I can't get this project, I'm going to get fired, and then I'll never be able to get an engineering job again, and then I'm gonna die. Then I'm gonna die. So it was always this like life or death situation in my mind. And I've noticed that you can see it in my leak coding videos as well. When I post my leak coding videos, if I'm not able to get a solution, sometimes I just fall apart. I'm just like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm not, just like this kind of like my entire being just falls apart. It's not great at all. It's not good. Now, there are some positive aspects to having fear and anxiety, and I think that we should recognize those. And when I think that that fear did help me to get a high GPA. It did help me to study a lot. It did help me to not give up and keep moving forward. So it did help me progress, but I think that there are much more positive tools that I can use that are not fear, that is not anxiety. And so, first, I'm going to talk about kind of what are the negatives to fear and anxiety, and why should I change it, and then try to address, okay, well, if I'm trying to change it and I'm trying to stop being depressed, I'm trying to stop being anxious and worried, well, what are the other tools that I'm going to use? How am I going to go about doing this? So, the negatives. I already mentioned the positives, that it does give you motivation to keep moving forward. But the first one is just, is that the kind of life you want to live? Just this little anxious rodent, always worried, always uh, going through life. At every moment, you could encounter some bad situation, and you're just like worried about it the entire time. And then that's the way you live your entire life. That's not the way I want to live my life. I want to be happy. I want to live a good life. I want to enjoy my life. Life is beautiful. Why am I worried? Right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, it's not fair to the people around you. Because if I'm stressed, all of a sudden I'm going to be giving everyone around me stress as well. If I am worried about X, Y, or Z, figments of my imagination, it's not fair to Susie, who now all of a sudden she has to kind of like supplant, or not supplant, but like take on my stress. Like, that's not fair to her. When I'm at work, it can impact my coworkers. That's not fair to them, right? So it's not fair to the other people around you. Thirdly, I'm actually not even too convinced about its effectiveness because, as I mentioned, when I was going to school, it stopped me from being able to sleep. I couldn't get a good night's sleep. And then I would be worried about being unable to sleep because I was too worried. So then it was a negative feedback loop and it just kept compounding on itself. So that's one example. Another example is just when you are trying to get a project, if your motivation comes from a place of fear, it's not you're not going to be able to do a very good job because you're just doing it not because you enjoy it, not because you're interested in it, not because of anything else, but you have this overwhelming fear that is like kind of like forcing you along, pushing you along. But I don't think you can do as quality of work with fear as your motivation. And so now, what are the better motivations? I was thinking about this, and well, the curiosity, first off, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this project? Or why am I learning this concept, this topic? Is it because A, if I don't learn back end engineering, I am never going to be able to get a good job. I am never going to be able to uh, move out from my parents' house. I am never going to be able to like blah, 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 all of this. I'm just going to just be a loser. I'm so bad. I'm so old, but I still live with my parents. I'm a loser. Like I'll never be able to. That's option one. Option two. Why am I learning back end engineering concepts? Oh, because it's really interesting. It's so cool that I'm able to be able to service those kinds of requests. And it's really cool that I'm able to build an application that can do this. I'm learning how, I've always wondered how this service works. I never thought about it. It just worked for me. Now I'm learning the underlying mechanisms by which the internet works. Which one do you think is going to be more effective? Right? So curiosity, following what I'm interested in, but also just being interested in the direction that I need to go. So I kind of know where I need to go. I kind of know where I want to go. Okay, well, I need to align my curiosity with those points. I need to be interested in it. I need to find enjoyment from it. I need to, have that kind of playful attitude with it, not come from this anxiety point of view. Now, another emotion that can push me forward in a positive direction is ambition, right? Because I know that I want to accomplish something. I want to be somebody. I want to, you know, have those accomplishments. I do want to obtain status, I guess you can call it, right? I do want to make contributions to this world. I do want to do all of these things. I have that ambition. So, first, I have a project. First option, if I don't finish this project at work, I'm going to get fired. And then I'm going to not be able to get another engineering job. And then I can't do engineering and my life is going to fall apart. And so now I'm doing my project because I'm worried that I'm going to get fired at any moment. That's option number one. Option number two, I'm doing my job or my project. Why am I doing it? Oh, because I hope to be able to accomplish it because I want to be able to keep hitting those goalposts and keep moving forward because I am inherently ambitious and I want to accomplish something. Which one do you think is going to do a higher quality project? Okay. So those are two emotions that I think that I can definitely draw from curiosity and ambition. But I also have to take into consideration that I need to change my mindset about nothing is going to kill me. Everything is going to be okay. Why should I be so worried about everything? I feel like I'm doing good at my current company. I I have a lot of wonderful coworkers. My management is amazing. I really enjoy working at the company that I'm at. I feel like I'm doing good. Okay? So, why am I worried about this? Well, I'm doing leak code. If I don't solve a problem, who cares? Like, am I going to be dead? No. I I solved a, or I didn't solve a leak code, but I saw a leak code. I learned something. That's what's important. That goes back to that curiosity thing, right? Like, I'm curious. Okay, cool. Instead of being motivated by the fear, and then when I can't get the leak code problem, I now beat myself up over it, or motivated by curiosity where I didn't get the leak code problem and I'm still happy because I learned something. Once again, which one do you think is going to be more effective? Which one do you think is going to be more conducive to long term success? Of course, it's going to be the second one. Now, I think it's definitely more difficult to than just to say like I'm going to stop worrying. But this is the direction that I'm hoping to go. And I think in my YouTube videos, my leak code videos, I've been trying to implement this in my own life for maybe the past like whatever 2 weeks, right? And I've ran into a lot of problems that I was unable to solve. And I tried to take on the mindset of, okay, awesome, I learned something. And I feel so much happier having this kind of mindset, even at work. I'm trying to shift my mind to be like I want to learn something. I want to take advantage of every single day to learn something, to better myself, to become a more capable engineer. And so I've been trying to change my mindset at work, at Leak Code, and I feel like it is definitely a positive change, and it's something that I need to continually work on because I really hope that I can get back to that kind of high school character where I was just so happy. I wasn't worried about anything. I wasn't thinking that the floor was going to fall from under my feet and that everything is just at any moment the what if Jerome Powell raises interest rates and the tech market is obliterated, and then what if ChatGPT becomes so much more better and software engineers are obsoleted, and all of these things that are completely outside of my control, by the way. But I'm worrying about them and stressing out about them, and that just drags me down at work. It drags me down in my own personal project studying. It just drags me down in my personal relationships, like with Susie. It just drags me down on everything. So why am I doing that? It doesn't make sense. So this is the direction that I'm trying to go. This is something that I really find is very important to me because I don't want to be that kind of person that is anxious. I don't want to be that kind of person that is constantly worrying about everything. I want the ideal person that I have in my mind, and I'm a very big believer in trying to kind of get an ideal in your mind and then striving towards that ideal. So, what is the ideal in my mind? It's someone who just goes about life very. They take life seriously. I'm not. Don't mean don't take it seriously, but they are very positive. They're able to encourage other people. That's another thing. Like when you're positive, it just helps other people feel good as well. Like that's such a power. It's almost a superpower to be able to impart happiness to other people. Like how wonderful is that? Okay, so back to my ideal is someone who is positive, someone who is happy, who works hard and is is going about life very much just like, as I said, that skating feeling. Just here I go, right? And when they encounter a problem, okay, how am I going to deal with that? How would the ideal person in my mind deal with that? Obviously, not get depressed. Okay, well, that's one. Uh, how else would they deal with it? I guess that they would just keep a smile on their face, not lose heart, work as hard as they can to solve this problem, and try to understand it, get a good idea, and even if they're unable to solve it, maybe come back the next day, try it again. So this is kind of the mentality that I want to have. And at work, as I've been saying, like for the past couple weeks, I've been and I was depressed about the fact that my project wasn't working. And I was trying so hard to get my project to work, and I was trying everything and anything that I could. And then, as I said, about 2 weeks ago, I started changing my mindset about I really want to change this about myself. And then once I started making that change, all of a sudden I was able to map one problem to a phenomenon in my project. And once I got that one mapping, because I realized that the reason that I was having so many problems is there was like 6 different problems all intertwined in inside the project that I was developing. And when I would change one aspect, maybe like this one right here, I would change this here in the code. But then the output would seem almost random because there were 6 intertwined problems and I couldn't figure out a mapping. But then once I started just saying like, oh, this is a wonderful opportunity for me to learn XYZ concepts. This is a wonderful opportunity. I'm given this beautiful chance to learn these concepts. Let me take advantage of that. Let me learn these concepts as much as I can. Once I started having that mindset, well, then I went back to my project and said, well, hold on a second. I don't think that this is quite accurate. Let me see about this. And then oh, here's one mapping. I pulled that string back. Now, instead of 6 problems intertwined, I only have 5 problems intertwined. And then I was able to say, hold on, I think I see this problem too. And I pulled that problem. Now I only have 3 problems, right? So I made significant progress in my project because I was no longer doing it from a place of fear, but rather I was doing it from a place of I am thankful that I am given this problem, that I am able to encounter so many interesting concepts that I didn't previously know. And that's kind of the mentality that I want to go forward with. It's not something that I'll be able to just change instantly overnight. Obviously, this is something that is going to take dedication, it's something that's going to take continual effort on my part, but it's something that I've noticed about myself that, okay, this isn't something which is great. I really need to make changes in myself and to, yes, become a better engineer, but also, as I keep mentioning, like, be a pleasant person to be around. And then number 3 is live a good life. All of these are very important. And so with my YouTube channel, I'm trying to kind of document my progress from a college student to searching for, like, from the beginning all the way to wherever I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I still don't know exactly where I'm going, but I'm not going to stress out about that, right? Wherever life takes me, that's where I'm going. And I'm going to just try to take it. And I have goals that I'm hoping to accomplish, but maybe I'll be taking other paths. I have places that I want to be, but maybe I'll go somewhere else, right? Like who knows where I'm going, what projects I'm going to work on, what concepts I'm going to be learning, what direction I'm going to be going in life. I have no idea. I do have ideas, but it's subject to change, and I don't need to be stressing out about that. So that's kind of I that's why I'm making this video, is kind of just as a documentation of that this is something that I've realized about myself, and maybe other people are experiencing the same thing. I'm kind of curious, like, how common is this in the field of engineering? Is this something that other people are struggle not str yeah, I will say struggling with? Is this something that other people are struggling with experiencing? Or yeah, because I'm just trying, in my videos, I'm trying to just document things as honestly as I can, try to give an accurate representation of engineering and my progress, and not hide things, not, as I keep talking about, getting on the internet and bragging, like, hey everyone, look how smart I am. I'm the most intelligent genius. I'm a prodigy coder from I've been developing code since I was 3 years old, and something like this. Like everyone seems like on the internet just wants to get on and brag about how wonderful they are or something like this. And I want to give an accurate representation. Like that's why I post those videos where I do fail leak code problems. I post videos, and I know that my project videos, the when I post videos where I'm doing projects, I understand that it can make me look incompetent. But the reason that, in my opinion, the reason that it makes me look incompetent is because we are so used to everyone just bragging about how smart they are on the internet. Everyone will have a pre recorded video where they already know all of the answers, and they just go and easily do their thing and say, like, hey, look what I did, look what I accomplished. But in my videos, I don't think it is a little bit hard. The sentence that I was about to say is, I don't think I am just completely incompetent and stupid or something like this. Now, it is difficult for me to make an accurate assessment of that statement because I don't have a very good sample size. I don't know. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But at least from my perspective, I think I am fairly average. When I look at my classmates, I think I am very much average with my classmates. So, this idea that I'm just an incompetent engineer, that I have no idea what I'm doing, I don't think that's true. So, I post those project videos. I understand that people might look at it and say, well, this guy is so incompetent, and it kind of makes me look bad. But I think it's important because it first documents my progress, as I said, but secondly, I think it gives people an accurate representation of what a normal engineer is like. That, yeah, I don't, when I'm doing a project, I do struggle. It's not just, whew, and I get the answer first try, everything works, everything's great. I struggle. I struggle a lot. Sometimes I can't even get it, and I have to come back the next day, and come back the next day, and right, like that. I think is what I've seen with my classmates. I've seen with my coworkers. I've seen in my life. I think that's what's normal, and I don't think that that's very much represented on the internet. And I think it definitely can give a skewed perception, and then people look at those videos and then say, "Oh, well, this is what is normal. I know for me, I can't do that. That's not me. I'm not that kind of person, and then they get depressed about themselves. They get these negative mindsets about themselves, about like, oh, maybe I'm just not good at this, or something. Maybe like that. No, I think I think we're doing okay. So, and that's kind of what I want to do with my videos, is just show like an accurate representation of projects and the engineering, what an actual engineer is like. And also with the projects, it's interesting. We're able to learn and encounter so many new concepts. Every single time I do a project, I'm like, wait, what is this? I've never seen this before. Well, let's investigate. And then we become better, we learn more things. And that also, if you're just watching a video of a person who already knows everything, you're not going to encounter those kind of off topic, red herring topics that are assumed to already be known. But to most people, like me, maybe I don't know them. And so I do those red herrings and find all of those topics. So, anyways, I just wanted to make this video documenting my thought process, how I'm trying to move forward, and also with I hopefully you guys will be able to see in my videos a change in the way that I act. I'm still going to try to not pretend like, oh, I'm just going to be so positive, or if I'm having a bad time, I'm still going to try to accurately represent that that path, right? I don't want to come here and pretend and give an inaccurate representation, but I want to instead make a real change in myself, a real change in my character, that I'm no longer have these kind of negative motivations, but rather I have these positive motivations. So that's where I'm trying to go. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to be something which takes a lot of effort, a lot of struggle, but it is something that I find very important, that I want to do, and that's that's what's up. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's fine too. And I will see you guys. Well, I can't say tomorrow because it's actually today. I'm going to be filming. What video do I want to film? I think I'm going to do a machine learning video. Operating systems video, maybe? And then a LeetCode video. I have a lot of videos planned today. So I'll see you guys in like a few minutes. All right. So anyways, yeah. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you in like 5 minutes.